One for the batu, one for the beach, one for my little boy who gets no sleeps. Ba ba, black sheep had a merry lamb. One step, two step, three steps, man. One for the bachu, one for the beach. What's up? Yo, this is kind of hot. Who just said this? You can roll with this. It had like a big pop yesterday. You got a pretty flat open on this. Right? You got nice doohickeys over here. Dude, I'd roll with it. All right. Let's get to work, people. We got things to do. We got things to do. All right, cool. First of all, we got a shit open. I would say shit open. This is the normal open for when you have a range bound market. You're going to have an immense amount of volatility and this kind of range bound action. So if you notice, right, the size of these kind of red candles have been just huge, right? And so we have a slow period of kind of distribution as we are stuck inside the range. And so what we're inevitably having is like gap ups and fades and then gap ups and then follow through, but we're just stuck inside ranges, right? So if you kind of mark all this out, it's just like, what do we really have here? We just are kind of right the penis in between us over here, and the range has gone even a little bit longer than that, right? And then beyond all that, we kind of have ranges inside ranges, but in essence, like no matter how you want to draw this, turd nugget that we're in, and it's been a tradable range, so let's not poo-poo this. If you're swing trader, it may be slightly more difficult as the opportunities are maybe a little bit, you have to be a little bit more selective. But as a day trader, the range and the ATRs have been fairly solid. The ATR and the QQQs at 7, which is pretty good. Oftentimes, like when we were in this phase over here, the ATR and the QQQs was like at 5. So we have about 40% increase. It's pretty good. But in as we're in a box, a nasty little box here. And this box can go for obviously periods of time, and how when it resolves itself, we don't really know, but it is up and down all around, dipsy doo dunkaroo. So now we got to go in and we got to go in and do that Lord's work. This is where the money, this is where you get paid, right? Like this is where the skill comes in. Every dunce can make money when the market is just like go doing that, right? It's like, hey, let me draw some lines on my chart. Let me draw some lines on my chart, and right. Oh, I drew a horizontal line. Stock gets over. I win. Right. Oh, I've got to pull back, and let me draw some lines, and stock hits it. I win. Now is a trader's market, right? So there's different strategies that have to be used. You have to fade gaps. You have to fade some turns. You have to long things off support, right? You're going to be doing all different kinds of things, and that's okay, right? That's just it's a part of the game, because we're in the big game, and it's not supposed to be always very linear. Now, beyond all of this kind of fun stuff, right? We've got ourselves a we've got ourselves a couple things that we can do, which is like, hey, we're in the middle of earnings season, and we can we could trade stocks that have PRs out. What I mean by stocks that have PRs out is you'll have every single day these kind of names, right? Like AXSM yesterday, right? Where you make a spike on news, and then you'll make an opening range, and then you start to go. That kind of play is going to happen really, all the time in this type of market. So we have, right, things like there's pockets of this kind of strength, right? Like you can see over here, right, with like the Baba Nation, for example. Fuck, I had so much of this as a swing down here in the calls too. I really fucked it up. Woof. Yeah, I had the 103 calls. I sold them, I thought, pretty good at like 5 or 6, but there was a little bit There was a little bit more quesos on these things. Fuck. I should have you know what I should have done is I should have reloaded them back down here, I think. They're moving on these gaps now, in an epic way. So, damn. You know what? We're gonna have to get a little piece of this. It's starting to move around again. Let's see what's going on. So we want to trade these kind of names, right? Where you just got like this nice, you've got some type of sector Momo, some news, right? Baba's been in the news for this what's a deep dick AI stuff. Bum 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 bum. Dude, there's all of these kind of things, right? This PDD is still hanging out here. We'll have like some pockets. I think the one that looks, decent enough is this Baidu. If we can get over here, so you can see here they got a weak open on these things today. But let's see if they go red to green today, then we're gonna be in for we'll be in for some fun. Now, getting back into this, the indexes are nasty today, right? Hey, Zaman, Persian Pirate. What's up, man? The Persian Pirate. So, look, we've got a gap down in this market today, but it's kind of in a weird spot. So, what I mean by that is that, we're gapping down, but we're just kind of filling the gap from yesterday. And so now we've got some ranges that we want to play that we want to be really aware of. You don't have to really mark out too many levels when the market is in the bullish upthrust, right? When your market is like big trending like this, you don't have to mark out that many levels. Previous day's high, previous day low, and then, your own intraday high low, right? Open, close. Like there's just a handful of levels. Now, you're going to have to do a lot more song and dance, right? You're going to have to do a lot more song and dance because you're going to have to be aware of all the gaps. You got to do the previous day's low. You probably need to know the previous day's low, previous day high, previous day high. And then, of course, even your pre-market highs and lows. So it's a big cluster fuck of stuff. That's why a lot of traders really just focus in on like when the markets are super hot. And then when they kind of do this, they tend to either ease out of the market a little bit, or right, they really reduce the amount of trading they do and their position sizes. Now, for myself, I don't do that because, would be the fun of that, right? Hey, man, what would be the fun of that? So we've got some things to do. Let's watch a couple things here. We got yesterday's lows and then this gap fill, right? We got a gap fill till here. Let's see how the market reacts somewhere into this zone. My guess is that's where the potential bounce spot is. I will say, though, even though the strength has been fading off every day because, we have tariff news and all this kind of stuff every day, the market has been very, very resilient too, right? So when we spike down, those dips have been getting bought also. So this is not like the end of the world that, we're opening weak or anything like that. And then there's a couple other things to be mindful. Powell is speaking at, I believe, 10, right? Powell speaking at 10. Powell speaking at 10. So we'll keep an eye on that bad boy too. I think that's going to be an important one too. He ain't going to say much. He never really says that much, but let's see if he's got any hints to anything, and we'll kind of keep it going. On the SPY, we got a little bit less of a gap because it's less tech heavy, but we're also right above yesterday's low, but below yesterday's high. So we're just stuck into that range. So if you're a swing trader, you're kind of like in no man's land. You got to take your swing trades selectively as you see like just really good setups, but you don't want to be like overloaded with a bunch of positions. If you're a day trader, you want to be just careful and not chasing up big spikes because the market is often reverting back to the mean. And so you want to be really in tune with all of this. Now, if you see the IWM is also fading off at a prior resistance. It's having trouble. Every time it hits into some ranges, it just rolls over. And now it's just in this big box, right? And so there's nothing to do. If you really want the market, of course, to start cooking, it'd be nice, right? If the big hairy if is right, if it could ever break out of this range, but I've given up on that. Like it ain't doing it. It don't want to do it. And it may take an act of the Lord to do it. Like there's been a couple times where it's going, but it it ain't working well. So just kind of keep that into the back of your heads as you go. Let's start digging in. So we know that the market is a little bit weak. We got Powell at 10. We'll get some action on that. Up or down, we don't really know, right? We'll have to see which way these ranges start to work. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, shoot. Hold on here. 1 second. There we go. Bump, bump, bump. There we go. Yeah, man, that's a tough one. Let's get into some of our earnings plays. Let's see what we got going on. Shop's got earnings out today, so we'll dig into that. There's a whole host of obviously small burrito stocks going through too. I don't think this is anything. I'd probably stay away from this kind of play. See how like it faded that whole gain, and now you're gapping back up again. Usually that's like what we call the sucker's gap, right? So these are all little. These are all the little guys. Hey, this Damen, this was really hot yesterday. I know all day was playing this in the chat room. Not my particular flavor, but hey, everybody likes something. Hey, so this LSCC, Lattice Semiconductor, is reporting its earnings out today. This is only $7 billion company, so you're in a really good sweet spot, like a little bit of a kind of mid-cappy name. This has probably got a good spot, a good location on it if you can get through this. I think that's probably right up our alley. Let's see if that one holds. You know, you got a pre-market level here, and then you got a bigger level on the daily chart. If you start to bust through some of these things, I think you got something. Bam, at it. Junk, junk, junk. Hey, Pitney Bowes. Dun, 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 dun. Is this its earnings? Yes, it is. Hey, so this, if you know, this is a little bit of a cheaper name, but you've got a level that's like parked up over here. You know, it's a little bit of a grinder. If you look at it's like intraday ATR per candle, right? It's like probably 2-3 pennies. So it's a little bit of a grinder. What I mean by grinder is that you know you'll have to hold it for a little bit of time to get it going, but you got yourself a little something something, right? You got yourself a little something something. I like the overall look of it. Like you can add that if you like a little smaller name, add it. Boom, 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 boom. Look at this. This is Phillips 66. Yo, that's a remount of the 202. Oil stocks suck the trade intraday. They tend to make better longer term trades. Oil stocks always tend, man. Look at this fucking thing. This is nice. So this got an upgrade to 11 from 7. Its earnings are in about a week. Right? This has probably got like a little location here if you like kind of these kind of $6, $7 names. A little bit low ATR, right? Only 34-cent ATR. So not my, I wouldn't say my favorite type of name, but we do what we gotta do, you know? Sorry, I'm getting my last of my serums on. You know, now that the weather's changing, you gotta kind of switch around the serums a little bit. You got to switch around the serums a little bit. And you got to go from the thick ones to maybe something a little bit more juicy. You know, you got to get your serums, they should feel really jizzy, right? That kind of consistency as the weather gets warmer. Where, you know, when it's cold, it's like it's a little bit more goopy. I think is probably the scientific word for it. Coca-Cola, dude. You could do that. This is a thick bastard. You 4 billion share float. I mean, you could do it. There ain't nothing wrong with that one. You know, maybe a little bit of a grinder, but who cares? Some of you guys should only be trading grinders. Dennis Law, where you been? The long arm of the law. Dude, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Hey, these steel companies, you got CLF, X, right? Some of these bad boys. they're all kind of in play here on all this like news hoopla. This one is probably a little bit cleaner. It had pretty good range here. This, I believe this is Steel Company, right? This has probably got room up to the 200-day moving average, and it's in play. Like I would add this in. Like you know, you're gonna get action on this both ways today. I would add in a couple of these metals, steel names. Humana, fuck these guys. We should be shorting these only. Q4 adjusted loss widens. Yes. Revenue rises. Bastards. Dude, fuck these healthcare companies. But, it's just stuck in range. So regardless, junk, 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 junk. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Yo, what was the news on Baba today? Anybody see it? Let's take a look here. Yeah, I'm gonna build out some stuff. Apple about to make AI features for iPhone. I saw. Thanks, Gush. Yeah, let's go back into this Baba for a second then. So Baba and Apple are making some doohickeys for their phones. Look, it's a little bit long in the tooth here, but if you get any kind of these intraday dips, what I'd watch is like the yesterday's high. Watch and see how it marinates here, right? If you start to like build out something over here, you may get a little bit extra push. Even though it's long in the tooth, it's not parabolic. It's just up 10 points in the last few days. But this is the stock you want to be in, right? Like this is if you look at the volume accumulation, right, and you just look at the range overall and how it's been trading, look at the options activity. This thing used to be so damn thin to trade. And dude, now you're getting 275%, 280%, 240, 191. Like you got a little something something there. It's buenos. Oh yeah. Not bad, not bad. Boom. Add it. Top of the list. All right, let's see what else we got here. So, what we need to do, wah, 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 wah. Let's go and see what else we got going. Let's hold on here 1 second. No, there we go. Cool. Let's switch things up here. Bom, bom. Oh, yeah. All right. So no oh, this is the wrong fucking date. Hold on. Bum, bum, bum. Hold on 1 second. Oh, dun, 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 dun. All right, there we go. Tuesday economic calendar. We got some treasury bills, crude report, brr. Fed speakers, 850. Old Beth. Don't know who that is. Beth. That's a great name though. Since a lot of things like, they go and then they come back in style. I feel like Big Beth. Like that's a name that comes back in style. Like Becky. Fed chair. This one, let's keep an eye. I don't think it's going to be like this monster or like market mover, but you're going to get a little spike up and down on this bad boy as he starts to speak. There'll be something because the market itself is like really, you can feel it, right? It's like a little bit skittish. There's something happening in the market, right? That's just like a little, right? It's just like this thing that's stuck in your tooth, right? It's there, but you just can't put your finger on it. It's there. So he's gonna when he talks, let's see. I wouldn't be knee deep in a bunch of positions, or if you are, right, use some stops. Let's see what else we got going on here. Pre-market movers, these are all the little turds. And guys, the earnings season is starting to die down, so be mindful. Like, you're not gonna always get all this kind of hootin' stuff for a little bit. SMCI rated a buy by CFRA. Hey, when's is SMCI's earnings out of the way, or are they after hours? Anybody know? Hey, somebody check that for me if you don't mind. I know you lazy fuckers don't use Google properly, but yeah. All right, after hours. Good, good, good. So, it may fart around, but we'll see after hours what's going on. I think probably it's going to have good range today. Yesterday's range was like 7, 8 points. So you'll have range on it up and down. Probably worth keeping on your watch list. You got to look at all this junk, 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 junk. These are our bios. Bum, 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 bum. Domo arigato. IBM has a nice chart. Back into the bone zone. That's something we'll come back to. That IBM actually, it's normally traditionally just a shit performer, but the range has actually been really good on it lately. And then top earnings for the week, we got Airbnb, AMAT, Cisco, the coins, Hood. I think that'll probably be something. SMCI, Twilio, Reddit, PanW. So we got a few here that are starting to move that should be okay. And then for today, it's just a little slow beans here. Like these are all. We got shop. We'll go into shop in a hot second. Bum, 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 bum. The easiest way to do it is just to copy and paste these into your TC 2000, and then make a watch list in TC 2000. You're good to go. That's the easiest way to kind of look up like all the earnings plays and all of this stuff. We are DX. Not much action. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Cool. All right. So it's a bleeder for today. Let's just take a look. Futures modestly lower. Powell testimony. President Trump signs 25% tariffs on steel import. U.S. pledges countermeasures. The Europeans will not do anything. By the way, countermeasures. Like, what countermeasures are they going to do? We will We will increase the tax and the cheese and the wine. Oh, the cheese will be much more expensive for you Americans. SP, that's not a good French accent, is it? I don't know what that was, but I'm gonna work. Bum, 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 bum. So we got this one. Let me see what this Ann's doing. SPGI Ann's a slut. SPGI actually looks pretty good. We'll come into that. Look, we'll take a look at this SPGI in a second. That's a flat top breakout. That one maybe a little something something. Beyond all that, let's take a. You got AMKR, junk, 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 junk. Dude, what a poo poo platter. This earnings season, there weren't really as many heaters as there usually are. Car. Yeah, you got some action on car. This actually has got a decent chart on the downside. DD fiscal, Eldos. Yeah, this Mar might be a little Man, that's Marriott. It trades a little thin, but that might have some range too. And you got Schwab. All right. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so this tariff stuff is, look, it's not until March 12th. They're not going to do it. It's always like just a big circle jerk. You'd almost like for it to something to happen just so we have some excitement, but it's always just a giant circle jerk. Europe earnings, they always suck. Good. All right. So let's get back into this. There's nothing that special today in the news cycle. We'll plan around. We'll plan around Powell, and let's take a look at this shop because this may be a little something something for the ladies. The news cycles, we got tariffs, we got Powell, and then we got a couple earnings plays, but this is not the hottest name, hottest earnings season I've seen. So we've got two levels to plan around on the Shopzilla. All right. First of all, what you got here? it's a muted reaction. So there's something, something we'll have to watch on that aspect of things, right? If it starts to build and hold over the pre-market high, and then that would be also clear out yesterday's range, we're into something. All right. We're into something. You can't see what? Like the Lord? So we'll see how this reacts. It's holding up okay so far. Yeah. And look, this stock is like it's always going to have the liquidity and everything you need. Let's keep an eye on this bad boy. We've got ourselves an interesting spot. So let's keep an eye on dude, let's do this. Heck yeah, yeah. Oh shit. Hold on one sec. Hold on, my mom's in India. She'd be blowing me up. Where are the pictures of the bachu? Where are the pictures of the bachu? My parents are both in India for a month. So it's like nonstop. Where is the picture of the bachu? Then you send the picture, and she's like, "Oh, look, the bachu is happy. Very good, very good." I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, the bachu just ate the butter. Very good, very good. Like, yeah, he just ate some of the butters. Dude, we had it. Nothing sexy, but we had it. Baba, sexy number two. Good. Baba, number two. Now, look, we're going to need a couple things here. Bum, 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 bum. We're going to need to do a couple things here. Let's take a look, see what some of these big boys are doing because a lot of them are in no man's land. Apple's got a little spike because of this news with Baba. We'll keep an eye on that. Meta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 days, 17 days in a row. I think if the market's already a little bit weak today, this is the level. All right. If you start to bust loose under 712, that's the previous day's low, and it'll clear the previous day's low. That's going to be up our alley. All right. That's going to be up our alley. So I want you to add in a little bit of flavor. I want you to add in a little bit of flavor for that. Man, this will be nice. If it cracks, right? It's a big, hairy Indian butt. We don't always know. Either that or let it spike into kind of this zone and then watch it, fade off a little bit. Beyond that, look, we got Microsoft here. You got a level right at about 410. That if it starts to clear through, and if you go back on even like a kind of weekly chart, right, you can see it's got a spot here where it's like getting a little bit heavy. If the market starts to do a little flushy McGee, I think pretty good. Hey, Dennis, you're looking at Elf for the a short, right? I think you could roll with it. Hold on here. Yeah, you can see here. So this is your hourly. I mean, right, pretty much on all time frames. This is a nasty little one. Uh, hold on here. 1 second. This damn TC 1000 froze. There, we're back in the game, baby. Good. Netflix is a turd. Google, watch this earnings low. If you break the earnings low, that's about 183. You'll probably get a little bit of a additional downside. Amazon's also kind of a nothing burger. Hey, Tesla, Nvidia does need to pull back now. It's up 20 points in the last few days, but you're in a sandwich. So, the only way I'd really short this is if it like kind of fades off. If it pops and fades off 135, but not an easy trade. And you can see here Tesla, right? Still weak. So you got now one, two, three, four, fifth down day in a row. And really, we've been down like 10 days in a row minus this because these are solid candles right here. See a reversal, reversal. So really, this has been the only down day. I think this is, I think this is probably along at some point if the market decides to push. It's down 4 points. Its ATR is 17. If you can get closer to the ATR in the extension on the downside today, then you probably got something, right? You probably got something. You're under the lower Bollinger Band. The stochastics, I believe, are at a 1. You're right in a sweet spot. Now, this is like going counter trend long, guys, is the hardest setup to do in the market, right? So for most of you guys, it's probably a nothing, right? It's just a leave alone. For those of you guys that are good at like bouncing and managing your risk, get out, get back in, get out, get back in. It's probably worth a watch. But don't force the issue on it because do bounce trades out of all the setups to do, bounce trades are the toughest, counter trend bounce trades. Hey, Dennis, if you're already in L from down here, I think you're good. If you're trying to, add too high, I think it's a little bit more tricky. I'm not opposed to it, but I think there's just easier plays. Good. All right. So let's go back through. Guys, remember BABA, LSCC, right? Some of these steel names, I think those are good for potential day trades. I want you to keep it really easy today because there's not, most days, like you'll have like some type of stock that's like, you're like, fuck, this is the name, right? Like we're hitting this. It's so hot. Like we got to be in it. We don't have that necessarily today. Shop might be something, you may have something in shop. A couple things to do. Keep RKLB, right? ASTS, a firm. Like these names have been really hot of recent. Keep those names on the watch list. I think RKLB especially, right? That was like it's got a really good daily chart. If the market rebounds today, those are going to get picked up. They were so hot. Not Joby, ACHR, right? ASTS. These were fucking. Sorry for the swearing, right? These were the boots in the coots yesterday. Let's roll with those too. All right, let's go do the Lord's work here and